I heard the first song Sparrow of the Year singing just a couple of days ago in early March. For me, they're one of the first sure signs of spring. Song sparrows are fairly common in North America. For the most part, they're nondescript brownish birds with heavily streaked breasts. But if the bird sits still long enough, and you look closely, the streaks on the breast kind of coalesce into a central spot. This spot is one of the identifying characteristics of the song sparrow's plumage, but for me, its song is the giveaway. It begins with 2 to 3 notes, sweet, sweet, and then devolves into a series of mixed warbles and trills. This song is distinctive, and it's one of the first bird songs heard in the spring from brushy openings. The birds continue to sing throughout the summer and on into the fall when most birds give up their mating and territorial songs. This sparrow was the subject of an extremely detailed study published in 1937, one of the earliest documented long-term studies of an individual animal species. At college in the 1970s, I learned of this groundbreaking study, but was told only that the author was Mrs. Nice, a housewife who had pursued this study on her own. I've always taken some inspiration from that. The fact that even untrained persons can add to the body of scientific knowledge despite the lack of advanced degrees in science. Any one of us can contribute if we nurture our curiosity and have the tenacity to satisfy that curiosity. Mrs. Nice always comes to mind when I hear the first song, Sparrow of the Spring. Now, in preparation for this essay, I did some research just to make sure my facts were straight. But, as is often the case, I came across information that diverted my attention from my original purpose, and I ended up surfing the net, going from one link to another. In doing so, I came across another name, Margaret Morse, who was born in 1883 in Massachusetts. She was raised with a love for learning, but with no expectation of a career beyond marriage and family. Now, despite that, she earned a degree in language from Mount Holyoke College in 1906, followed by a master's degree in biology from Clark University in 1915. It was there that she met her husband, was married, and maintained a home while he finished his doctoral degree. In 1919, she began studying nature while caring for her 4 daughters. She documented the behavior of mourning doves, warblers, and song sparrows. Her work earned her recognition in the American Ornithological Society and the Wilson Ornithological Club, and she published over 250 papers in bird research. Despite that, some local birding clubs denied her membership because she was a woman. But the professional ornithological community did recognize Margaret's contributions, naming a subspecies of song sparrow after her. Now, it turns out that Margaret Morse married Leonard Nice back at Clark University and became known as Mrs. Nice. And now, after all these years, I wonder why our biology lecturer omitted the details of Margaret Morse's career. It would have seemed an opportune time to make a point. But I guess it was a class in biological science, not a class in social science 30 years ago. Oddly enough, Margaret Morse Nice passed away in 1974, the year I was graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in biology. There's a quote of Margaret's that holds some meaning for me. We who love nature, who see and try to understand and interpret, are following the true goal. We must try to open the eyes of the unseeing to the beauty and the wonder of the earth and its wildlife. End quote. On this day, I probably learned as much about life as I did about song sparrows. This spring, I heard the first song sparrow singing as we entered March. Now, as it turns out, March is National Women's History Month. I haven't heard Margaret Morse mentioned yet, but when the song sparrow sings its song from the alder in my backyard, from now on, I'm going to think of Margaret Morse, the researcher, the writer, and the philosopher, rather than Mrs. Nice, the sparrow lady.